You're listening to a Loot Dummies podcast, LOOTdummies.com. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons and Dummies, a weekly podcast following a group of friends as they battle across a homebrewed world called Antiriath in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Step into the mystical world of Antiriath and follow as our party adventures across the lands. Talik Grug, half-orc fighter-sorcerer from the wretched valleys of Mek'Zim, played by Taylor. A Learlock Bloodhair, Harengon cleric whose fate seems determined by luck itself, played by Joey. Pomerel the Gatekeeper, Summer Eladrin paladin from the Feywild city of Solaria, played by Seth. And Bodyknot Greenleaf, the halfling rogue with a penchant for taking things that don't belong to him, played by Josh. And last but not least, the creator of our beautiful world, the man of many voices, and our dungeon master, Sam. And welcome back, everyone, to Dungeons and Dragons and Dummies, the podcast.
All right, so I don't have anything planned.
Right.
Because we just want to do postmortem stuff.
Postmortem. You could have said anything else.
Give eulogies.
My God.
That's what I told Julia we were doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
The eulogy.
Postmortem. Here's what I think we should do. And I don't know what your notes look like if they just say fuck stun 1,000 times for like 4 pages. But I think if it doesn't say that, then we should do
that's a good idea.
a little recap.
One final recap of the last sesh.
Yeah, just of the last session. Just from a sterile, factual recap stand. And then we can dive into the...
Sterile.
What's not factual? What do you expect to be not factual?
No, I'm just saying. And then we'll get into the emotion side of things and express how it all made us feel.
Oh, well, there's feelings all the way through. I don't know what you want.
I have a question for
Yeah,
you.
lay it on us.
What
Yes.
do you call a bear without any teeth?
Gummy bear.
Oh,
Dude!
hit his
Punchline
own
and
rim
the
shot.
rim shot. Back to back.
10
Oh,
out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Beautiful.
Wood rim shot
Beautifully
again.
done.
Mom says, "How do I look?" Dad says, "With your eyes."
That's the whole joke.
Wah, wah, wah,
Yeah,
wah.
that's the sound effect for that one.
Good.
It killed Seth. He's dead now.
Recap! In our previous session of Dungeons and Dragons and Dummies, final session, Book 2, we find ourselves on the 26th of Frost at 10 p.m., deep in the Jungle Pyramid Temple. We are standing at an ornate door as the DM takes us into Imagination Land, showing us attempting to tug at our heartstrings with this small innocent monkey in a sun-dappled jungle who gets captured and caged by poachers. The monkey is transported all over the place, eventually arriving at his final destination of a wizard's tower. Ultimately, the wizard comes up with a spell of some sort that awakens Zaius to his true new form. Ultimately, he meets the druid, and things progress from there as we recap through the events that Zaius saw through his eyes of what the party had been doing up to this point, before we're transported back out of Imagination Land into the crumbling jungle chapel that Zaius calls home. We engage in some wordplay with the pious ape. He's a bitch. He taunts a Learlock, but the party moves forward.
Poetry.
Talik and Zaius engage in some back and forth jibs and jabs as the party slinks through the chapel, getting ever closer to their prey. A Learlock gets Zaius to give up his BBEG plan to use the temple as a catalyst to cast the orb's powers across the world, transforming all creatures. As we move through the Zaius' chapel, a Learlock points out that there's some stealthy creatures overhead, but they are not visible to the party, including Learlock. At this point, we roll for initiative, and the GM announces that he is out for blood. Pomerel quickly closes in on Zaius.
He did? Wait.
Oh, he
I
absolutely
think I
did.
said Zaius is fighting to win.
That's synonymous.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with
The
Joey.
DM says he's out for blood. That's what he put in his notes.
Let me tell you something.
Wow.
When you hear the audio, you let me know that it was translated differently. Pomerel gets in and gets an early hits in on Zaius as Zaius casts Hold Person and succeeds on a Learlock and Talik. So 2 monkey monks jump down from up high and start a wombo combo on a Learlock as Pomerel gets a huge D20 hit that is negated by Zaius' mirror image spell. Zaius
Been
blinks
thinking about
himself.
that all week.
Oh, me too. Zaius blinks himself to an ethereal plane as Pomerel gets pierced with an unholy penetration and stunned. That is the last time we'll be hearing from Pomerel. A Learlock gets loose, but Zaius keeps running and gets up on top of this thing in the middle of the chapel room. As Pomerel continues to be stunned, a Learlock also receives a psychic crush and is stunned. Talik is getting tagged up under the Hold Person by the monkey monks. A Learlock is being battered and is put into a forced choke and lifted 30 feet in the air. But Talik is able to be released from his Hold Person when he breaks concentration to lift a Learlock up. A Learlock breaks the stun, but is still airborne and grappled. Talik gets some hits in on one of the monkey monks as Zaius drops a Learlock and he lands prone. Zaius then looks over and dominates Talik. A Learlock tries to get some hits in, but Talik starts wailing on a Learlock, bringing him to his knees. Pomerel is the last remaining target that's not under
Hey, yo.
Zaius' control. As Zaius throws a rock at Pomerel's face and commands Talik to kill Pomerel, a Learlock fails his first death save. Pomerel then takes all the attacks from everyone, including Talik. Talik hits Pomerel with a nat 20 and leaves him with 2 HP. Talik is still dominated, Pomerel is still stunned, and a Learlock fails his second save. Pomerel then takes a hit and goes down but not out, and a Learlock dies permanently. The monkey monks then move their attacks onto Talik as Zaius summons Talik to him and breaks domination and tries to force choke Talik up into the air but fails. Pomerel makes a second save as
Vader.
Talik takes a beating down to 4 HP and casts Mirror Image and Action Surges and attacks a monkey monk and beats him up some. Pomerel stabilizes. Zaius then leans down and Rafikis Talik in the face with his staff and puts him down but not out as we fade to black.
Wow.
Dang. Man, hearing it recounted, it sounds so like fast and like round wise and real world time wise, it was super fast, but it felt like it took an
Mhm.
eternity.
Like he did. I was thinking about it when we finished. He didn't just team kill us. Like he whipped our ass. Like we didn't even really do any damage to him.
Well, the funny thing is, y'all wouldn't know this as characters, but like you had done a good chunk of damage in just the couple of attacks that you had landed on him into his health bar. You'd probably done like half of his health. And
Yeah.
he was out of 6th level spell slots. He had 1 5th level spell slots,
Oh.
no 4th level spell slots left, and then several like 3 and 2 and 1 spell slots. But like
Okay.
it wasn't like it was totally.
It felt the
it
way
felt
that
like
it
it was
went
hopeless.
felt like it
Yeah.
was we just got just dominated and destroyed. I think it's because we couldn't pass our saves.
Well, yeah.
So I was just gonna say I didn't write it down, but I had added up the amount of damage that Pomerel had done initially with his first two move turns, and it was a significant volume. Like I knew he had to be hurting to some degree because I'm wanting to think I did like 60, 70 damage.
Yep, yeah, you did a little over 70 damage.
Yeah. And I don't care if he had 200 damage health. 70 damage is a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he had 200, that's 3 rounds and he's down, right? So,
Yeah,
which he
I
didn't
never
have
could
200.
get any more hits on
He had
him.
less than that. Yeah, like if you had hit that crit, all that damage from that attack would have been added together. It would have been an impossible con save.
It was
Oh,
either
yeah.
it was
keep
a high
concentration.
risk reward battle. Like if we could have got hits on him and got out of our saves,
And part of that
it would
is
have been
a
easier.
problem that people talk about with high level D&D, especially back in like the 3.5 and Pathfinder days, is they call it rocket tag, where it's like whoever gets those
Couple
super
hits.
powerful spells or super powerful hits off early, it becomes more lethal. You've got all this hit points, but like there's other things where the game becomes more lethal at higher levels actually.
Well, it's because a lot of the big bads don't have 500 health. There's not that many of those.
Yeah, to really challenge a 11th level party, it's probably going to be like a caster. So they've got these super powerful offenses and control spells and stuff, but not necessarily hit points.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Were there any legendary actions or layer actions that we didn't see?
Um, he casted a low level spell as a legendary action, right? That was his best legendary action. It took 2 of his legendary action points. He got 3 around. It took 2 to cast like a level 1 or 2 spell. And so he had some really good ones like Mirror Image and Misty Step, I think was one of them. He has like some really good ones that he could cast from there.
He was
at those
casting low level
levels.
spells and then also casting
And then
a
on
high level
his
spell.
turn, cast a high level spell.
Right.
Yeah, cast a low level spell off turn. And then he had like a meditate ability where he could like recover just a little bit of hit points with a legendary action. Just
Well,
like
I
center
can't see
himself.
the whole game log, but like I'm looking at like in the last few couple of rounds, the damage output that Talik did on Alirlock and Pomerel was,
Oh,
I mean, 12, 14, 26, 12, 11, 14, like some big damage numbers.
When Talik started wailing on me, I had 24 health, and it was a 12 and a 14 damage for each hit, and that was it.
so
Yeah, and then on Pomerel he did a 26, 12, 11, 14.
So y'all know he's been watching you for a long time. So literally, he had prepared counters specifically for y'all. And Talix, I just have the word
That does
dominate
make
person.
sense.
For
Yeah, 'cause
Pomerel,
wisdom.
I have keep his distance and use teleportation abilities to get away from Pomerel.
Yeah.
And then for Alirlock, it says the key blocking thing that prevents the healing that the dudes did, and then knowing to kill the healer early. So he had planned out how to kill y'all specifically.
Which makes sense. I mean, he would have that info.
Yeah.
So I expected, based on his race, for him to be incredibly mobile, and so I had prepared. First of all, I had made sure I saved a Misty Step to fight him, which I was going to use to
if he tried to get away.
If he got too far away, because 40 feet of movement plus Misty Step on a bonus action, I can go 70 feet in a turn. And the next time I was watching our health, and I decided the next time I got hit, I was going to use my Channel Divinity for Peerless Athlete, and then if it came down to it, I was going to burn my final spell slot for enhanced ability for movement. So like I had plans to keep up with him if he started running, but I never got that far.
I know. And another thing that I thought about was you had the whatever your class, what class Pomerel?
Paladin.
The big save bonus, but he hit like your only save that didn't have a good bonus because your intelligence is low.
Yeah, my intelligence was a +5, wisdom's +10, charisma +14.
Yeah, like wisdom, like the hold person is a wisdom save.
Man.
Even the con +7, I rolled like 4 17s trying to hit the 18 number.
Yeah.
And then if I had even one first level spell or one second level spell slot to cast haste,
well, you know,
like
what
if I
else
had
I
just
about?
one spell slot.
Talik rolled like several 16, 17s. If you had been standing next to him and he'd gotten the +5.
Oh yeah.
True.
You know, just
I would've
a
saved.
random positioning thing.
I rolled a 16, 17, 18, and all 3 were fails because I had a -1.
And
for
that was
wisdom.
mostly due to initiative order. Because like Talik almost certainly would have rushed in as well, I assume.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
love you too,
Yeah.
babe. Oh my gosh, I think I may have just. I hope I don't even want to look this up.
I will say I had.
Okay, incapacitated means down but not out, right?
I think it's part of unconscious.
Well, I'm just saying, my aura of alacrity works as long as I'm not incapacitated.
Okay.
And so
stunned might make you incapacitated, so it might not have even worked if you were stunned.
Okay, because my point is, I was not adding the bonus to Talik when he came up on me and started swinging on me. We were not adding my
Okay,
+5 bonus to Talik.
A stunned creature is incapacitated, so we actually did it right.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, good. That would.
Stunned
I'm
is-
so glad.
Those stunned and dominated. Those spells are so powerful.
Yeah.
Well, and it fortunately is not going to impact my next character because I've been set on my next character for a long time. But if I did not know, I would not be able to admit that subconsciously I was not. I don't know if it would be conscious or subconscious, but I would definitely be preparing to negate things like that from Zayas or anybody else in the future because that was incredibly triggering.
Yeah.
Right.
And honestly, like a paladin is one of your best options for negating that. With the bonus. I think high level fighters, like literally like maybe level 17, it's some ridiculously high level fighters get a ability that helps with that. Indomitable. Can anybody spell indomitable?
No. Yeah, I mean, yes, but INDOMITABLE.
Found it. Oh no, it's only 9th level, so if you weren't multiclassed, you would have had it.
Either way, I
you
mean,
can reroll a saving throw that you fail. So it's just rerolling.
Right. And I rolled 16, 17, 18.
It's not as good as I thought. Once you use it, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. I thought it was just every time.
Oh, once a day. Throw. Yeah.
So it's not that powerful, actually.
You know, in the beginning, I was worried about my ability to do things because of not having spell slots. But I don't know. I still had spell slots when I hit 0.
Me too.
So I was like, I don't know what I could have done differently, except, you know, if we had instead of separating and stayed in like a cuddle puddle, we might have been okay.
My first thought is always to spread out on those kind of battles because you know what I mean. So many spells are
AOE spells.
Yeah, I never would think that.
Yeah, think about grouping up against Moloch, who was just shooting out like
fireballs
spells.
Right, cones.
The opposite.
So my first instinct is to always split up. But yeah, you're right. Well, I think like my plan at least, and what we've done in previous fights is Talik and Pomerel are both up on the bad, like up in their face. So I would assume, I thought we were working towards that. We just couldn't even do that much. I mean, you know, we couldn't even get where we wanted to get.
Save.
Right.
I got in his face. The very next thing he did was run away from my face.
Yeah.
Which was a problem.
Yeah, he was a very tough baddie. I mean, so he was a wizard. What kind of wizard was he?
He was pretty custom built. So I went and got like spell levels from like an equivalent. He was a CR. Let me double check what CR he was at. CR 15 creature. So that means he's worth 13,000 experience. And
I guess don't tell us too much if we might fight him again sometime.
No. This is just from a
he'll
balance
be stronger. I'm sure.
A deadly encounter for 3 level 11s. They're each worth 3,600 XP. So basically, the XP budget was a little over 10,000, and this guy was 13,000. So he was.
Oof, he was deadly.
But I've thrown things that are over deadly at you guys burfor, and y'all trounce it. You know, but
it was just that kind of fight where
fully charged.
Those saves just made the whole difference. I mean, if we would have made those saves, we would have beaten him in probably less than 5 rounds.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I kept rolling things in Tailspire and out in the open stuff because I didn't want to pull any punches. I didn't want to be even tempted to like fudge a dice roll or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about fudging dice rolls, I just want to talk about my death saves that I made. The 3 consecutive death saves that there was no successes in between.
0
I rolled a
successes.
5, and then I rolled a 6, and then I rolled a 7 IRL.
Gosh, that's right. You just straight up failed all
It was
3
just
death
not
saves.
not working.
Because what was Pomerel's status? Did he come over and finish you when we ended, or you were?
What I described is him checking everyone's pulse
Right.
to see who was alive and who was
But
dead.
Alirlock died. We know for a fact.
And he
3
checked
death
Alirlock's
saves.
pulse. No pulse. But yeah, Talik went down and we faded out. So
And Pomerel
we
was
didn't
like
roll his saves.
2. I think Pomerel was 2 saves, 1 fail when we finished.
No,
Something like
he
that.
saved. He got 3 saves.
He was up, so
and
he was laying
stabilized.
there at
He was-
0.
Yeah, so he would wake up in 1d4 hours.
So we technically don't know that Talik and Pomerel are dead.
Right.
Interesting.
I don't like that.
Interesting.
I'm going to ignore that.
I was kind of wondering because I mean the assumption is they come over and kick us in the face, but you technically didn't describe.
Stab us through the heart.
Yeah.
And after we got off, I was obviously sad at the end of my last death save. But after we got off for the night, I went downstairs and sat down with my wife who was playing Pokemon. And I recounted the fight to her. And I got a little emotional. I'm not gonna lie. I had some tears in my eyes because I am now still sad that Alirlock is no longer living.
It's crazy because I think the 3 of us had 3 different reactions. I mean, I felt like Joey was kind of like, wow, like stunned. I was like awkwardly laughing, like, what the fuck? Like, like in shock. And then Seth was like annoyed. That was like in the moment.
So I specifically told my wife right before it said, well, we're going to die.
Oh, I was shocked.
I fully anticipated death. Fully anticipated. I was prepared the week before, actually, the session prior to that. I said tonight or the next time we play, we're all going to die, and I'm going to be a little sad about it. So
you were already getting your mind prepared.
I had every expectation that
But what you weren't ready for was like a shitty, sloggy stun lock session.
Just unable to do anything session.
I thought there was going to be a room full of demigods trading blows.
Yeah. Epic battle.
I was not prepared.
It was not. Yeah, I wasn't either.
To stand there and watch this. Frankly, if I was watching like a show or a movie, that's the type of episode I would turn off. Like there's a episode on The Walking Dead that reminds me of that I literally turned the TV off before the episode finished because of something similar, and have never watched the show again.
I kind of like it because it's totally subverts. If you're thinking about these as like these epic books, like imagine somebody's been reading like a 400-page Lord of the Rings style book, and then it ends with all the good guys getting killed and just getting dominated,
murdered. That's horrible.
I know but that's kind of like it would definitely you would remember it. I mean,
Emperor Strikes Back is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, there you go.
Get a sliver of hope at the end of that, but mostly they all get their ass kicked the whole movie.
Yeah,
but it makes Return of the Jedi just so much better.
Triggered.
Well, also, it does build the tension. I mean, like I really, and this is not a knock on you or our game. I think it's just what happens with D&D. we were starting to steamroll so many people that there was less. I don't know. I hadn't felt scared in a few like levels. You know, like
Yeah.
we felt really scared at like I feel like level 6, 7. You know, there were a bunch of times where we were like, "Oh my gosh!"
The last really tough fight was probably the Shambling Mounds, and even
Yeah,
that,
and even
like,
that was
did
just
anybody
like
even go
weird
down?
rolls. I think one person went down maybe, but it was just like we were all rolling bad and they were rolling good. It wasn't like we just got whooped.
I mean, don't forget that we have had a Revivify cast in this game against the White
No,
Dragon.
I know. That's true, and it did
Bishamon
come
was a
down,
tough
but that
fight.
was a while ago. I mean, that was we're
yeah.
level 11, right? That was like level 8 or 9, wasn't it?
I'm gonna say 9.
Yeah, no,
I think it was
know.
9.
I'm just saying that was
No, you're right.
a
You're
tough
right.
fight.
Yeah, that was very tough, and I wanted this one to be every bit as tough.
And it
But
was.
yeah, well,
I don't have any issue with anything that you did.
It was frustrating, but that
Yeah.
was the goal. And I think that that's the kind of character he is. It's a good outcome for Zayas. He's that domineering kind of
yeah.
thing.
If I was to do anything different, it would be to have a less douche level bad guy, but also like I love that he's a douche level bad guy, and
Yeah.
plans for every contingency and stuff. But like, yeah, I wouldn't change his stat block because that is how he operates. That is how he gets things accomplished.
You felt like what he was able to do to us, that it went how you would expect to a degree.
Yes. And in his mind, he can do that to anybody.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He's kind of got that domineering kind of personality.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Well, one thing that we talked about in our chat afterwards is maybe on this episode at the end of this, to finish it up, we should talk about like things that we maybe wanted to get into with our characters that we didn't,
Yeah.
or things that we were going to do going
Yeah,
forward
things
with
that you
them.
wanted to share, but we're waiting for the right moment, and maybe now's a good time. Or, yeah, I think so.
Somebody else go. Joey, go first. I want to hear about. We never even got into the charm thing, his pendant thing. Like that never happened on camera. Like where you were talking to other characters about all that. Your two gods or whatever.
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird thing. So Allurlock's proper name is Allurlock Bloodhair. And so some of this was revealed early on, but Allurlock's village was essentially sacked, and him and his sister fled. His father was AWOL because of when Allurlock was born. He saw his fur was blood red, and he was afraid and ran. So,
because the red fur represents a curse.
A curse, right? And hence Bloodhair being his surname.
Cool.
So him and his sister ran like immediately following the sacking of the village. Sister ran. Sister ultimately died running, and
yes, we got like a flashback scene. Sam did a flashback scene in one of the early episodes. Yeah.
Ultimately, somewhere along the way, he came across someone. I never really fleshed out whether it was a priest or just another a different kind of adventure. Sam may have ideas.
Well, the way you wrote the backstory, you said that in that moment he cried out to anyone who was listening, and a god answered.
Right. You send up prayers or whatever, and the answer may be something you don't expect to be the answer. And so in my mind, I knew that happened, but I didn't flesh out like what the response was to get Allurlock into where he was at with his coin. The coin has one side that's heads, one side that's tails. One's for Tamora, the goddess of luck, and the other is Bashaba, which is like her opposite.
I think it's her twin sister, right?
Yeah, it's bad luck, misfortune, accidents, that kind of thing
Gotcha.
that
Yep.
she represents. And so each day I have a coin. I have an actual physical coin here that I purchased.
I didn't know that. Like a
Oh, yeah.
special coin? I thought you just
Yeah.
flipped like a quarter.
Nope. I bought a special coin
Oh,
for
cool.
Learlock. And so anytime we would start a new day, I would flip this coin. And depending on which side it landed on, it would impose or give an effect to me for that day.
Yeah, like Tamora blessings or Bashaba blessings.
What was, and it was like different spells were available those days, or what were you, because I know you were kind of just doing that under the table.
Right. So there was, hold on, let me pull up my feature page. Essentially, I could flip it, and if I could add to melee attacks, I could add radiant damage if it was Tamora's side, or necrotic if it was Bashaba's side. And then and that was, I think it was a D8.
Yeah, yeah. And that's like that's a cleric feature, and it's based on like your domain, but we did that because it was
Yeah, we flavored it that
with
way.
the two different
with the
domains.
two,
Yeah,
with the two gods.
that's cool.
There was luck of the gods where if it was Tamora, then I could grant an ally to reroll a failed D20. If it was Bashaba, then I could force an enemy to re-roll a successful D20. So there was some cool stuff like that. And then as far as in the future, like Allurlock's plans, quote unquote, super vague, but Allurlock was gonna eventually attempt a true resurrection and bring back his sister.
Oh,
interesting.
Nice. Oh my God, how
Bum,
close
bum,
were you? What level is True
bum.
Resurrection?
I don't think True Resurrection's for like super late.
Like 18, 19.
Yeah, it's like somewhere up there.
Let me see. I want to know what spell level it is. See how? Oh yeah, 9th level. So that's 17th level character. Okay, so you weren't that close. I was thinking you
No.
might be like a couple levels off. I was like, oh my God.
No, that's why I was saying it's like super vague, because I don't know how we'd even get to that point.
Yeah, you have to find her. Don't you have to have her corpse? I guess she's probably buried, isn't she?
Yeah, that would have been kind of part of it. Be part of the journey to do that. But also, I think it costs like some ridiculous amount of stuff worth of gold. So there's that.
25,000. Wow.
That's what I thought.
Oh man. Well, do you have any like last thoughts that like a Learlock might have been having that you didn't get to say? You know, because you got like knocked out, like dream state kind of.
So we turned the camera on, and I rolled a physical die, and I was like looking at this die in my hand, and I'm thinking, I know I'm gonna be really sad if this is lower than a 10. And then I rolled it, and it was 7, by God. And then like instantly it was like I'm playing everything in reverse. Like all the things that the Learlock has done with this troop of adventurers, Pomerel, Shadow, Talik, Body Knock. I played back through those things in my head, and then I thought back to the other adventuring parties that I never got to get into, as far as like historically what Learlock went through to get to where he was with you guys. And I think Learlock's last thoughts were thinking more of all the people that he ran from to save his own skin, because he was the last surviving member of each of his other parties. And this time he's the first to die.
Oh,
and
wow.
that's kind of that was running through Learlock's mind, running through my mind as the player. Because it was kind of sad poetic in a way.
Yeah.
And something I also didn't get into is that I had the Amulet of the Plains on me, and if I was the last one alive somehow, I was going to use that and get the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah. And that would have been poetic in its own way, like continuing on the same thing that's always been his story. But I don't know, I think it's kind of like closure that he For him.
It's kind of like a hero moment, although, we lost. He doesn't know that, but we were looking pretty dire
Right.
when he succumbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was certainly fitting that, he didn't abandon his friends. So
That would have been cool. You had a lot of different ways you could have gone. We could have had Seth and I's characters, meet up with the Learlock somewhere on this path. There was so many different options if that would have happened. And yeah, that's one of the things that I expected. I just expected, it didn't even cross my mind, the being stunned and dominated, because I was looking at our potions, looking at Revivify, looking at all these things. I was like, I really, I was shocked.
Oh yeah, I mean Pomerel had Revivify, and I think he was holding on to that 3rd level spell slot to either get a crit and kill him, or have Revivify. Am I right?
Yep. There's only 2 reasons I was going to use that level 3 spell slot.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely correct. A nat 20 that I knew was going to hit him, which is why I pulled back on the first nat 20, because I knew he had mirror image up. Then the other thing was, yeah, absolutely, I was going to hold on to Revivify if somebody went down and died, and I was able to still be alive somehow.
Yeah, I mean, we had, and the plane shift amulet. I'd kind of forgotten about that. Just a lot of things. I don't know. I didn't expect it to happen that way.
Yeah, it was tough. So, real quick on Pomerel, because he has less to go over than the rest of y'all. So, yeah, one thing was holding on to the level 3 spell slot. Something that I don't know that the companions realize, but Islania has been able to peek in on Pomerel throughout his entire time in the material plane. So the queen has been keeping track of the going-ons of the party as long as he's bathed in sunlight every 24 hours.
Interesting.
Then she can look in on him. So the question becomes, it's the wording makes the question, does she know he's dead? So, the wording of it is that while wearing this pendant and bathed in sunlight, Islania knows the location of the wearer. If she focuses on the target, then she can ascertain a general idea of the creature's condition. If the creature is separated from the sun by a barrier made of 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of metal, thin sheet lead, or 3 foot of water dirt for more than a day, then Islania loses the ability to know where the target is until they enter the sun again. So we were only in the temple for a few hours. We were not in there for more than a day. So it's likely that Islania is able to discern whether he's dead or near death or whatever. So that's a little something about Pomerel that may not have been known.
No,
Yeah, I was thinking about that and the implications of Shadow being back there. And if
so now he would know,
can ascertain that, then Shadow can ascertain that information. I was thinking
Right.
about the implications of all that.
She could absolutely make sure that Shadow was aware that Pomerel and the party had likely succumbed. There's no reason to think that Islania doesn't know where he is and how to get in contact with him.
Right.
I'm sure they've set up some type. So within the week, I would say he would know that something had happened. And you got to think, from Islania's standpoint, Pomerel is unkillable. I mean, he's been slaying beasts that are unheard of in the material plane in the Feywilds for a long time. Like he's not a pushover. He's a weirdo, and he's a lovable weirdo, but a weirdo nonetheless. But she never, she was mad that he wasn't there to kill the dragon, so her son didn't have to fight the dragon. She thinks of him at that level. So, for him to go down would freak her out, I think. Because he is the vanguard of the Solarian forces.
He's like the 007, where it's like, well, we just have to deal with him because no one else gets the job done the same way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you got to deal with his goofiness because he is the best. So yeah, it would be a big deal to Solaria. I don't know this. The DM would have to determine this, but I would almost think that like they would acknowledge his passing in the capital.
Yeah.
Or the fact that he fell, whether they know he passed or not, I guess is up to the DM's discretion. Whether she knows he's just she can't find him, or and it's possible that Zaius would have taken the pendant. So if anybody takes the pendant off of him while he's alive, they have to pass a pretty aggressive strength save, and then they have to pass a pretty aggressive con save, and if they fail, they take 66 fire damage for trying to yank it off his chest. It burns them. But Pomerel was obviously following his queen's orders, but something that we didn't really get to experience of Pomerel is he absolutely loves the pomp and circumstance of court. So he was so excited to see some of the great cities of the material plane and dine on the fine wines.
The worst city in the only city y'all went to was freaking Pokerit, which is like the drollest place.
Well, and I think Talik and Alir picked up on it for sure, because there were some conversations about it.
Yeah, but with his his ridiculous tints and stuff. So there's one thing that we have to clean up on Pomerel's story, and it is I have been avoiding even thinking about it. But his noble, wonderful, loyal, faithful, amazing Sunbeam is now without his companion.
I know. It's like it's not like he's trapped, right? Because he can travel between. He gets summoned from the Fey Wild and can be unsummoned back to the Fey Wild, right? Yeah, so it's not like he's trapped in the material plane or anything.
You think he just goes straight back to the Feywild?
He's not trapped, but
immediately know.
Yeah, he would. The bond would be broken, and he would know. And then Pomerel's other companion, the Great Elk, is also without Pomerel, and y'all never got to meet him. He was.
I like how you just always threatened Sunbeam with the Great Elk, but we never met him. It was like a long running bit. It was good.
Yeah.
It's like, don't make me swap you out, damn it.
I'm gonna get the elk. I like how you're like, oh, the elk was a character. We just never got to him.
Yeah. And then the other thing that would make the other elves in Solaria pretty sad is because Pomerel's young, like real young, like in his 30s.
Right.
Oh, I didn't realize he was
like
that
a
young.
Teenager for a
wow.
Yeah, he's a little kid. I mean, which is now you all know that's why he's
more of
so
his like
absurd
stuff, Amelia Bedelia stuff.
Yeah, he was not a wise, all-knowing, battle-hardened elf. He was the young punk who was just stronger than everybody. He was the prodigy running around smiting people, but he was a kid. He was super adolescent for an elf. So there wasn't really a whole lot to his story that y'all necessarily do or don't know. Maybe some of his great deeds, but just his character development was going to eventually move into a more mature thing as he saw that he couldn't handle everything alone and he needed his companions and he wasn't able to just wade through whatever was in front of him. There was going to be some character development of maturing.
I think that's the worst part of losing a character is like you make your character and like, if you do it well, like you all did, they've got some flaws and you have a plan for them to learn and, work on those flaws and not getting to do that.
Yeah.
Well, and I was just about to say, I really like Pomerel's like very simple, like why he's with us. Like the Queen sent him out on a mission because it was Pomerel's mission. Because it was Shadow's mission. And like, I like that. There's like an old school kind of feel
like a
to
chivalry
that.
to it.
Yeah, so his bond is that my loyalty to my sovereign is unwavering. That's his bond.
Yep.
That's
Nice.
what roots
No,
him.
and you played that. I mean, that's what he was all about.
His ideal is respect. Respect is due to me because of my position, but all people, regardless of station, deserve to be treated with dignity.
He was a cool
Then-
character. He was just a good-hearted dude, not
Yeah.
like the twisted back story, like
Yeah, oh yeah. No tragedies in his life or anything.
And like his lack of knowledge of the material world made him like all the more wholesome, right? As he was just like
yeah.
very direct and literal on things because he just didn't know.
And then his flaw has an insatiable desire for decadent pleasures. And then under personality traits, my favor, once lost, is lost forever. If you do me an injury, I will crush you, ruin your name, and salt your fields.
Oh my.
But
That's how he felt about Zaius.
yeah, but he came from noble birth. I mean, he grew up in essentially a palace adjacent. He was the second highest family in Solaria's eldest son kind of thing. Like he had no hardships. Everything had come easy. He was just a kid, a phenom kid, but a kid nonetheless. So, yeah. So yeah, quirky, weird, naked Pomerel is unknown, status unknown.
I had to make a new section in my PC folder called retired characters.
Oh,
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, it felt nice. It felt like, well, and like, I put Body Knock in there because we don't really know what happened with him and stuff. So, yeah. All right, Taylor.
So Talik started as like, for me in my mind, I was like, okay, what's going to be easiest to play for my first ever D&D character?
Oh, wow.
And so just started as a fighter, and I'm like, okay, I always like characters who are like not the best stats or whatever. So I don't know, like I always look at like orcs and gnomes and whatnot first. So I wanted to do like an orc or something weird. And then so I was just thinking about kind of his background. And I'm like, well, he basically grows up in an orc tribe. And what do orc tribes do? They just fight other clans. And so you have this simple kind of backstory. But one thing that I think always flavored how I tried to play him was that he was a half orc. So he was like, bullied and whatnot and grew up kind of as an outsider. But then I decided I wanted to multi-class. So that's when it became like oh, this is a cool idea. So basically, Talik's father, who we saw in the flashback, is a sorcerer.
He has draconic ancestry, and so does Talik.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about it. So when I first started dipping into sorcerer, we had some scenes with Talik having like these scales grow on his arms and stuff. He was starting to get like scaly knuckles and these sorts of things. Because one of the things that happens with that subclass, you get these different draconic features. Like you eventually get wings that you can fly, like it's, so I envisioned it that way, as like you're kind of becoming draconic as you level up. And so we were playing it that way.
Explain what was going on with your ring.
Yeah, so the ring was a gift from my sorcerer father, and basically the flashback scene where Talik's village was razed and the Grug clan was just like all killed, including Talik's mom. You let us take one magic item, and I took the ring of mind shielding, and it basically is a ring that holds a soul. And Talik's mother's soul was in the ring, which I think was pretty obvious.
Yeah. Well, but it was interesting
Yeah.
because you picked that, and I think when you picked it, you just assumed it would be empty, and if Talik ever
Yes.
died, his soul would go into it because that's how the ring is described. But then you said it was your mother's ring, and I was like, she died, and that's how it was bequeathed to you. So that means her soul is in it, which I thought was really crazy.
Yeah, it kind of wrote itself.
Yeah.
Initially I was on some kind of like life quest, kind of almost like a Leerlox, like what am I going to do with this ring? Like, like, should I resurrect her? And then I think I had a conversation with somebody about making sure, how can you make sure that a soul gets into heaven or something? So I was kind of getting towards that. I wanted to do something like that. But yes, that was funny because when I took that item, I thought, oh, if I die, my soul would go in there and then my party members. I was just looking at it as like a gaming standpoint, but that became a really cool story arc. And then I was thinking about the motivation and just Talik's only like 20 years old. I'm like, would he continue this or would he just like take a break?
What's driving him? Does he have motivation to become a true hero?
Exactly. I think there's two things I really liked. I really liked our stuff with the kobolds, and then I had started using Big Bone again after the Cursed Sword saga. And so I like this idea of Talik going back to the kobold village because of his own draconic stuff that was coming in.
Okay. Man, I can totally see it. You know how in Book of Boba, he like communes with the sand people and like learns a more like spiritual life?
Yeah.
Like doing that with the
I had that idea,
kobolds.
and then I wanted Talik to kind of like, instead of going like hermit, like depressed, like disappear into the kobold village, like kind of get the kobolds out of the mountain, like get them seen as like a respectable race.
Oh wow. Yeah,
So I really like that kind of idea of like using my Confluence Guild pull after killing Zaius to like do something for the kobolds because I had been using the Big Bone weapon that they gave me. And that was just one of my favorite little story things that happened in the first two books was that, what are the mole people? The Kretoks and the kobolds.
It's so funny because like, I wanted to position the kobolds a little bit neutral, but I kind of thought y'all would just like fight through the kobolds and they would just be baddies.
That was one of the things we talked about. And that was probably the first time we didn't just go, oh yeah, let's just kill these people. We're like, oh no, let's talk to them. And which you, I think, built something in for that. You had built in like that skill challenge that kind of got us thinking that way because we'd went to speak with the kobold diplomats or whatever. And so that got my mind going like, oh, well, maybe we could convince these guys instead of fight these guys. That was probably Talik's path. So I was probably going to be busting out a new character for book 3 anyway.
You were thinking about retiring him anyways? Nice.
I didn't know if I would maybe leave it open, like, hey, if somebody goes and gets him like the old superhero in the movie, know, for the final fight kind of thing. But yeah, I was going to try something new. I've been playing Talik since the beginning.
I know he was the last one.
Yeah, Learlock joined us late and Bodyknock's gone.
And then Palmerel was really recently, just a few levels ago.
That's something I didn't think about. Like, and maybe that's why I'm so feel the way I do. Is Learlock was my first long-term D&D character.
Yeah, I was looking. You joined us at level 7.
I mean, it's been 2 years.
So it's been.
You've been playing a Learlock for 2 years at least.
Yep, 2 years, over 2 years. So yeah,
I mean, almost every single week.
For that.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of investment.
It's so funny too, because Seth's like really lives and dies by his rolls, and I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. And Joey's like, the dice are the dice, and then Joey was the one that was most affected, I think, by the Learlock.
I mean, it's true. I mean, the dice are the dice, and I can't fault the game for being the game.
I didn't know what to expect with you. I thought you might go into like oh well,
just full apathy mode.
Sam?
No, I knew how much he liked the Learlock because he's like, I've seen all the stuff he's written and like all the side conversations we've had and stuff.
Yeah, true. Okay.
I knew you'd be sad about a Learlock.
Yeah,
a Learlock is a really good character.
Are you sad about the fight and how the fight went? Because I know that's Seth's biggest issue.
Yeah, I would say y'all are opposite ends of the spectrum on that.
We talked about, what do we need to go get reinforcements? We try to get the dudes from Pokerid or whatever. And that never came to fruition in any capacity. We were selling off stuff to the Fox lady.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. To try and get all the stuff we could get.
The thing about that whole thing is like Sam was pushing the time,
Mhm.
and we never really got much of a commitment from anybody that we asked. Like the best we got was those Screaming Eagle, like, they're like, oh, we got 5 or 6 guys. Like,
Screaming Eagles, the shiny Eagles. Fucking
yeah,
the shiny Eagles. That's so good.
But that was the
Oh, that's
best.
so
I guess
true.
if we would have thought about it, maybe we should have sent a speak scroll to somebody and say, how quick could you get your Screaming Eagles out here to Houston?
Yeah, logistically, I don't know how that would have happened.
That's what I
Right.
kind of
No, we're
thought
so
too.
far away.
I mean, we took
So far away,
so long
and
to
there
get
was a
there.
ticking time. We're like, okay, we think he's there now. We want to get there before who knows what happens. I mean, we're the heroes.
Yeah,
Her name was Wrathwind.
Wrathwind.
Name of her store
Yeah.
as well.
Is that the
Yeah.
Orca lady?
No, the Orca lady were the Nemagus merchants.
We'll probably do we'll have to beg Seth to give us like a 1 sentence per session book 2 recap. So book 1 was 33 episodes and book 2 was
Holy shit.
100, and it's going to end up being, I think it's going to end up being 108 episodes for book 2.
Well, I will tell y'all something I'm writing is a Imagination Land for like immediately after the fight, and kind of like a montage of scenes across the continent and kind of what's going on, just to
Oh,
kind of fill in
God.
some perspectives that guys don't have. It'll be quick, but like,
Yeah, that'll be great. I mean, I had some ideas for Talik, and I maybe that's why I wasn't quite as upset, although I was just so stunned. I just really was shocked that we got
yeah,
killed.
you
I
were just
really
like,
was
what
truly
what
shocked.
the hell? Yeah, and then you were dominate person, so you were like, I guess I just fucking kill my own people. Yeah,
Yeah, I was shocked more than upset because I'd already kind of retired Talik in my mind. But the way we died, this is one last thing that I want to mention about what happened. The most frustrating thing about the way we died, and probably what I was trying to say earlier about saying it was kind of realistic, is that we didn't have time or any moments to have like a speech, like a take this ring and do something with my mom's soul, if something happens to me. We didn't have dramatic moments where we were laying there dying. We were just dominated and dead.
we play these games and you play a character with really good stats and stuff, and so they're able to go out and do heroic things. But like most people in this setting aren't adventurers, because this is exactly what would happen to them, just a painful, unpleasant death.
That's one thing about D&D that's been interesting to me that I just didn't know what to expect or whatever, is that we're at level 11 right now. Like, we're so strong compared to everyone in the world.
Yes. Oh, yes. And that's something that, when y'all are making your next characters, they need to be like, make sure their backstory reflects that level of power.
That's a good point, that they're absolute badasses. They're going to be coming in at
Yeah,
level
they
11.
should be known in their region for their strength.
We just came all the way from the other corner of another continent to try and do this,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So they should be someone who, like, in fact, like if you wanted to make a character who like was some sort of hero who's known around with a hero's name sort of thing, like now's
Yeah,
the time to
that
do
would
it
be reasonable. Yeah.
if you've ever had a character idea for something like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's wild.
Man. Well, dang, when y'all said y'all wanted to do kind of like a post breakdown, I was like, what's that going to take, like 10 minutes? But man, this has been like a really cool experience as a DM.
I'm not finished actually.
Okay.
So I think Seth was saying, like, he was telling his wife we're gonna die or whatever. I
Mm.
did the same prior to coming up to my desk upstairs. I
Oh,
jumped
really?
to Julia saying half-heartedly, I didn't believe what I was saying. I said, "Oh yeah, we're probably gonna die," but I didn't believe it. I
Oh,
didn't
man.
have an inkling of a thought that was gonna happen. That just made it just hit even more.
You go back down, you're like,
This is-
so we did.
Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. I did not expect the fight to go that way, and it is what it is.
It's just so like unceremonious, like
Yeah.
It was an execution.
it makes Zaya so much more badass, It really does as a character. Imagine we've had this epic journey. I mean, like 100 and something episodes. We've done 100 and something
I
fights.
mean-
Like we have all these stories and all these backstories. We didn't even get a second to cry.
We haven't even talked about the whole cursed sword side plot.
But one of the reasons why we haven't talked about it is because that was one of the only big side plots that was fully done. We wrapped it up.
Yeah. as
Yeah,
far
what
as
do we have?
story's
The
concerned.
Underdark and book 1, and then that in book 2. And I don't regret not going in there at all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bill-
I don't either. The cursed sword thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Going back to the beginning of book 1 or the end of book 1, like how many notebooks have you filled up?
To the beginning of book 1,
Well, yeah, sure, all of it, but also like the end of book 1 to now, just book 2.
the book that I have in my hand right now is 25 sessions.
Oh, okay. So it's relatively new.
Oh, I'm reaching into my drawer.
Relatively new,
Which
6
I'm
months
sure
old.
people know this because people are smart about podcasts. But I usually get 2 episodes out of a session. So if you've
Yeah.
listened this far, just for math's sake.
Yeah, I feel like I marked the end of book 1, but I'm trying to remember. So I have 3 full books, or 2, almost 3 full books.
Jeez. I bet book 1 ends pretty close to the first book because just
Yeah, I bet it does
time
too.
wise, it's like 1 year for book 1 and then 2 years for book 2.
And like the books are different sizes, and I write different based on the way the pages are gridded or not gridded and all that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell y'all, book 3 and 4 I think will be shorter than book 2. Book 5 will probably be really long.
So how many
Huh.
books? This is a big reveal you
So
just dropped out of
It's
nowhere.
a 5-book
5 books.
campaign. Yeah.
5 books.
Did I not tell y'all that originally?
I
You
don't
did.
know that you did.
Yeah,
I
Oh,
think
did you?
I
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a 1 to 20, and I remember when I looked at it, I was like looking at the levels. I was like, shoot, we might hit level 20 before we finish. And Seth was like,
I
yeah,
want to play as a level 20
I want to play
character,
level
damn
20.
it.
And I was like, that's a good point. Like, there would be nothing worse than hitting level 20, having one fight, and then that's it.
So I was literally telling a guy I know who is also one of our listeners today that I want to play the whole last book at level 20 ideally.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Like I said,
know.
last book might be kind of long.
But there's not that big of a difference between 18, 19, 20, I'm sure. Anyways.
Well, I don't know. Every character's if you go solo class.
Yeah, but
then level
most of
20
us aren't going solo. We're multi-classing.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see these new characters.
That's true.
Y'all are different than me. Like I want to. So I like even with video games, I want to get all the in-game gear, and then I want to play for a long time with all the in-game gear.
Yeah, you're a power gamer.
I need that carrot to chase.
Sam quits every game at 80%.
If he gets his in-game gear, he's done
90%?
playing.
Sam builds the starter base, and if it's 2,000 square foot home size or bigger, he's quitting the game. He's beating it.
Oh my god! I've never been so targeted by an insult.
I have a whole nother book primed and ready.
Awesome.
I'm jazzed.
By the time we're finished with this, AI is going to be so good. You're going to hold your camera on your phone up and just thumb through those pages, and it'll type them out as fully formatted and edited books.
Oh, I can't wait.
That we'll have on, what's the porn thing? OnlyFans. You can buy for $5 from us.
Why are we
Oh,
going to put it on
okay.
OnlyFans? I don't understand.
Because it's the future and books don't exist.
Oh, everything's on OnlyFans. It's become the major marketplace. Amazon has crashed.
Amazon's
please don't
crashed.
say that.
OnlyFans has become the hub of goods and services.
Oh man.
So, Joe, are you ready for your reveal yet?
My reveal?
Yeah, your reveal.
The reveal
That
is
reveal.
of if you're gonna continue into book 3 with us.
Oh. Ooh. I didn't know it was up for discussion.
Yeah.
Y'all keep saying
Dude, we
that.
didn't give him a choice. We didn't give him an option.
Well, he has clearly stated that he is giving himself a choice. So
We're bullying him into not getting a choice. But you do have a choice. Free will exists.
No, I'm going to continue to play.
Woohoo!
I
Fuck yeah.
wasn't trying to force it, but I did need to know because it was going to have a dramatic impact on my character.
Well, that's concerning.
Well, it just
It's your character's arch
is there going to be
nemesis.
3 or 2? You know, there's a I would build my character out differently depending on how many people were in the party.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I was
that is fair.
assuming, but he does get the choice. The three of
I mean,
us
I know
don't
where
get
he
a choice
lives.
because we're related, you know. So he does
Is that a
have free
threat?
will.
We're in it to the
I heard a
end.
threat.
What? Nope, that was a
I
statement.
didn't hear
of fact.
anything.
No, we love you.
I didn't hear anything. I know the editor.
I'm going to go change the locks and reinforce the windows and all that good stuff. Be right back.
Be right back. Oh my.
All right, guys. Well, R.I.P. potentially Tulloch and Pomerel, but R.I.P. Learlock.
Yeah, for damn sure.
Pomerel's dead.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I think Tulloch's dead too, but we don't. It was left open. We don't know.
I mean, he can zombify him if he wants, but I'm never gonna. I will not acknowledge his life.
He's dead to you.
Well, that's a perfect spot. Good night.
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Find out what happens to our party next week. Check us out at dndndummies.com. And please leave us a rating and a review on your podcast app. It would mean the world to us.